Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to Warren County Fiscal Court, Thursday, July 13th, 2023. Our court is now in session. And we'd like to open up today with an invocation from Pastor Greg Farrell of Crossland Community Church, and I'll be followed by a pledge of allegiance by Esquire Tom Lawrence. Pastor Farrell.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Court. Join me as we pray together. Heavenly Father, thank you. I know your word says you make all things new. And we step into this court this morning, and it's new, it's fresh, it's just beautiful, Father. And we know that you're a rejuvenating God. You consistently make things new. But the good news is you're always the same. You want things to change, but we can count on the fact that you never change. You're always the same, yesterday, today, and forever. And in a world that is constantly changing, we find our sense of well-being and security not in circumstances, but in the Christ who controls all things, who created all things, who sustains all things. And we, the people of the great county of Warren, should be most mindful of how blessed we are. And it's all because of the goodness of your heart and our willingness to cooperate with you and with one another that we refuse to leave anyone behind. And so thank you for the blessings. Father, I pray over this court that you would give them wisdom. Your word says if any of them lacks, they should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. And we're just blessed beyond measure. But Father, also, we're on a day like this, if we're in this room, we're doing great. But many of our fellow citizens in our community are not. We're mindful right now of our officer who was shot and nearly killed in the line of duty. We want to pause and ask your mercies on his continued health. Lord God, we pray for all of those who protect us, all of those who respond when everybody else is running away, our firemen, our firewomen, our emergency services, our sheriff's department, and certainly BGPD. And Father, lastly, we know in a week or so school starts, so we pray that you would protect our schools, that you would keep our children safe, that safe environments lead to excellent education. We pray that you'd keep them safe at home. I pray that you would begin to make people realize that school zones are school zones for a reason, and that they would slow down, Father. We just love you for everything you are and everything you do. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand, face the flag, and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Aldridge.
Here.
Esquire Lasley.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Williams.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
First item on the agenda is approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting on July 13th, 2023. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any corrections? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Next item is approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Next item is approve the personnel changes for Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a momentary pause. We got a couple things we want to go over first before we continue with the agenda. And first, we're going to have a little history lesson, if that's all right. So if you'll indulge me for about a minute. But I do think it's always important to understand where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And we're going to talk about this courthouse that we're sitting in right here. So it was constructed in 1869, started in 1867, but finished in 1869, which was just 4 short years after the end of the Civil War, at an unbelievable cost of $125,000. So I will like to say, many of you maybe have never noticed, but on the front of our courthouse, about 2.5 stories up, is a nameplate. It says DJ Williams. That was the architect for this courthouse. Of course, it has that Greek Revival, Italian architectural styles. I would welcome you to, when you go out the front, take a look at that. Many have never noticed it, but there's a bronze plaque up there. It's been there since then. This actually is the third courthouse in Warren County's history. The first was a log-type construction, and the second was a brick-type construction, both on Fountain Square, and this moved here in that thing. So the exterior of this building looks much like it did in 1869. I would welcome you to take a look around this building. I would pray that we would have craftsmen that could build this building again today, and I'm not sure if that's even possible. However, it was built in 1869, and long before computers, CAD drawings and everything else, but done measurements by hand. It's an unbelievable thing. The limestone, of course, for this building was milled right here in Warren County, Kentucky. There's hundreds of federal buildings in Washington, D.C. that use that limestone from Warren County, Kentucky as well. The cupola at the top of this building was rebuilt in 1930 after a fire. I assume we have some fires every once in a while in the downtown area, but there was a fire back in 1930 as well, but that cupola was replaced in 1930. And the last thing about, in the early 1900s, the original courtroom that you're sitting in today, the original courtroom was in the back of the first floor, which is where the sheriff's department collects taxes. That was the original courtroom, and it was done for a reason. It was put back there because of all the noise of the horses on the cobblestone streets on College Street. So it was put in the back to reduce the noise structure there. And then this courthouse, the first and second and third floor, had a major renovation done to it in 1957. So what I'd like to say is thanks to this fiscal court, every 66 years, whether it needs it or not, we should do an upgrade. And for any of you that have been up here before, we've had a significant upgrade to the building, and we're excited about that. And I'm very thankful for the fiscal court for the work they did. So I want to first off thank My Projects and Billy Miller, who was the low bidder on this, that redid the interior of this courtroom. They were the low bidder, and I appreciate that. I also, because she's here, I want to thank Michelle Gorman, who was the low bidder on the interior design. Zero, that's right. So, but she did pick out the colors and the things like that, and I think we can all appreciate that. So I appreciate her hard work on that, and all the work of Warren County, James Markram, Dean Talley and his crew for getting all of this done as well. I'd also like to thank personally 5th District Magistrate Eric Aldridge, who bid on the granite countertops that are here at the courtroom. And I will tell you, he was by far the low bidder because he did that below cost. And so, but this is something that lasts 60 years, and it's a great honor for us to have that. It looks fantastic. So this renovation here will hopefully last a lifetime for most everyone in this room. But we're excited to welcome everyone to the new fiscal courtroom, and so thank you all for being here today. So thank you very much. So we have some special guests with us today, our first time in this new fiscal court. And so we have our Bravo 12 black team that's here in the front of it. We should have done this during the school year so they could have skipped school, but we appreciate them coming today. I want to read off a couple things, and then we have something special for each of them. But this group of young ladies, they were first place in 8 of the 12 tournaments for the season, 2 first place wins in the 13 girls division, 4 additional gold bracket top 5 finishes, and they overall this season had 77 wins and 7 losses. So they went to the 50th AAU Junior National Championship in Orlando, Florida earlier this summer. They came first place out of 93 teams in the 12 club division. They were 12-0 over 4 days of competition, and they had 2 All-Star Player Awards, right side Jalen Page and setter Allie Troutman, and the MVP award went to the libero Piper Gregory. And it is a great honor for us to have them here today. So what I'd like to do is call them up individually. If they'd come up here, if we'd have the magistrates and our Deputy Judge Brian Downing up here, we've got something for you. When I call your names, you'll come forward, and then we'll get a picture here at the end for that. So first up is Lorelei Kirby, number 22. Come on, stay up here. Here we go. Next up is number 18, Rayleigh Vickery. Next up, number 15, Kenna Gilbert. Next up, number 13, Jalen Page. Next up, number 7, Ainsley Huffman. Next up, number 12, Darby Campbell. Next up, number 6, Evie Ramey. Next up, number 4, Allie Troutman. And next up, number 1, Piper Gregory. The MVP. Let's hope there's no more players out there. Okay, we're good. All right. And also want to include our assistant coach, Andy Troutman. And the head coach, Eliza Huffman. So again, on behalf of Warren County, I want to tell you how proud we are of the accomplishments of these young ladies. They've got a great future in front of them for the schools they're playing for, but also for this AAU. So again, congratulations to the Bravo 12 Black team for our national championship.
Ready?
All right, we'll resume our agenda. We've got another presentation here shortly, but we'll resume our agenda. Item 7 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2350, rezoning property located at 0 Plano Rich Pond Road, formerly 974 Plano Rich Pond Road, from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 71.4163 acres and presently owned by JAB Holdings, LLC, care of Jody Allen. Ms. Milliken.
Thank you, Judge Gorman. Just to make everyone aware, I think everyone received a copy of the notice of opposition, which we knew that was coming. We had read that in the paper and talked to some individuals that they were going to file something. So we do have this. It's been properly filed with the clerk. We all have a copy. Now with the notice of opposition, you may have your second reading if you decide to, but you may want to table that issue. And let's first talk about the notice of opposition. So because the notice of opposition has been filed, you now have two choices. One, they're going to approach, and Mr. Davenport is here, in their written document, they have requested a de novo hearing. So you're going to vote whether or not to give them a hearing. You don't have to. Most of the time, historically, you have. If you decide to give them a hearing, there are two types of hearing. One hearing is on the record. And a hearing on the record allows you to review everything that was presented at the Planning Commission, hear oral arguments from the parties. We give them 5 to 10 minutes, depending at your pleasure. They get to rebut what was said, and they can give a closing statement. I have the ability to ask questions if something that they presented piques my curiosity, or you have sent concerns to me, I can ask on your behalf. That's a hearing on the record. and then you'll make a decision. With regard to a de novo hearing, it's a brand-new hearing. You're going to hear witnesses, they're going to call witnesses, they'll be sworn in, and testimony will be presented to you, as if no other hearing has ever taken place. So that's all your choices. Let me give you just a couple of housekeeping tidbits. As you will remember, within 90 days from the Planning Commission hearing, you either take action or you don't. And if you don't take action, by operation of law, this becomes the zoning. Okay? So keep that in the back of your mind. That date is September 13th. A little bit more housekeeping. In the event you decide to grant them a hearing, whatever type, may I suggest that you do it, if you do it on the record, I would suggest you doing it at your next scheduled meeting on August the 10th? Is that right?
Thursday, August 10th.
Thursday, August 10th. Instead of doing it at 9 a.m. when you're scheduled to be here for court, why don't you set it at 8 or 8:30, 8:15, whatever. I think 8:30 would be the latest. But you schedule it then because you're planning on being here already. So that might make it easier for your calendar and theirs. They know that that's a fiscal court date. Any questions that I can answer with regard to the procedure or to clarify the type of hearing or anything? So you will probably entertain a motion, whether or not to give them a hearing. So the motion would be, I move to grant them a hearing. This is the type of hearing. Or I move to deny the hearing and proceed with the second reading. It's your pleasure, but that's kind of the...
Should we possibly consider tabling the motion until, or should we do the hearing first?
Why don't we vote, if it's okay with this court, because we don't have a motion yet on the called item, let's go ahead and handle the notice of opposition, and then we'll talk about, because if you all decide not to give them a hearing, you may have your second reading.
All right. I'll make a motion that we grant a hearing on the records and not the second type that they requested, just because the facts have been presented. My understanding that there's a lot of information that was already shared at the hearing, and we don't need, we have access to all that information. So that's
Okay.
my motion.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Squire Cummings to have a hearing on the record for Thursday, August 10th, and we'll set that time
8:15.
8:15, Thursday, August 10th. Is there a second for that? Second by Squire Williams. Any discussion or question? Clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
And just so we're all on the same page, we usually set a time limit for them to make an argument. So how I plan for it to go is the opposition, the individuals filing this, will have a total of X minutes. I'll let that be at your pleasure. We do maybe 5 to 10 minutes for their argument. They can have 82 people speak within that 10 minutes. They can have one person speak within that 5 to 10 minutes, whatever you give them. Then the individuals trying to get the zoning passed, that's Chris Davenport. It's funny because we have Mr. Davenport, Robert Davenport, who's representing the opponents, and then Chris Davenport, who's representing the proponents, I guess. And he will have the same amount of time. And then I will let the opposition do a rebuttal for maybe 3 minutes max. Same for Chris Davenport. And then maybe a 1-minute closing statement by each of them, if that pleases the court. And that's kind of how it will go. So I guess I'm asking you for direction with regard to the amount of time you would like to give them for their base argument.
I believe 10 minutes each side, and then with that rebuttal, and then I assume, and I know it, all relevant material plus that recording of the P&Z meeting and everything else will be given to all the magistrates for them to review as well, so that we have all of the relevant information long before we get to that August 10th, correct?
Okay, so all the parties are on the same page. 10 minutes, 10 minutes. We'll do 3 minutes, 3 minutes, a minute, a minute. Okay. you do have homework, and I'm going to assign it like a teacher. You have been given a link to the YouTube video with information on where that hearing starts. You really, as part of your job, sitting in this quasi-judicial setting, your job is to review that and be prepared to have all the facts before you come in to the meeting, and then, or to the hearing, it's a hearing. And then, let me remind you, you sit in a quasi-judicial setting, it's absolutely, it's a requirement that you not speak to anyone with regard to this. Don't speak to Chris Davenport or any of his clients. Don't speak to Mr. Davenport or anyone representing the opposition. Don't speak to Joe off the street who doesn't have anything to do with this. Hey, I heard you had a hearing. I can't talk about it. You can say, but you could call the county attorney, because I can talk about it, because I don't vote. Okay, any questions? Okay, now what I would suggest is that you table this issue, the second reading, and but I would suggest that you schedule it for the 10th, because it's on, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, and I believe Squire Cummings' motion was to have that hearing on the record and have that August 10th at 8:15 a.m.
And then,
Okay.
and then to put it on make sure it's on our agenda, on the August 10th agenda for after the hearing.
Right, second reading. So we're going to table item number 7 and take no action on that today.
If anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to meet you outside.
Yeah.
But that's not a fight thing. It's
And
do you have any
yes, for both Davenports, I don't know if there's any relation, but for both Davenports, they can, but they can speak with Ms. Milliken, who can instruct to make sure that we're on the same page, because we want to hear from both sides and want to understand exactly where, what more in depth. So she'll give you the direction of that. So outside if you'd like to. So great. Thank you all. Mr. Davenport and Mr. Davenport, thank you all for coming today. Great. All right, before we move on with number 8, we do have a presentation by Mr. Comer, who's going to talk about our summer program here in Warren County.
Judge and Fiscal Court, thank you for letting us come and speak today. I've got several friends. As you know, I kind of like to travel in a pack. So this discussion is kind of twofold. We're going to do a presentation. We're also going to do several recognitions. Several years ago, back before the pandemic, around 2018, we created a Rec on the Run program. And that program was started out very small. We went to the Warren County Board of Education. We said, hey, can we basically follow your summer feeding bus and provide recreation to kids throughout the county that, for reasons that they can't control, can't get to our parks. And so the first summer we did that, we had over 500 kids that we provided mobile recreation for. We took games, activities, recreation, and fun into all corners of Warren County to allow kids that could not get to parks or directly involved in our programs the opportunity to play. That program has expanded, and the pastor and the minister at the beginning talked about new and fresh. And the individuals I have behind me, they're going to do the presentation because it's their new, it's their fresh, and it's their drive and it's their vision that has enabled us to have the program that we have. Another critical piece of that is Courtney Stevens, and before Courtney, Ms. Rice, with the Warren County Bowling Green Public Library. We have combined forces, and we have partnered on a multitude of activities, events, camps, and they're part of our family. And we are working together to provide service to the citizens. And so I'm going to let our staff come up and present to you our Rec on the Run Thrive special event, our marketing, and then also this month we have 90 plus of the best recreation professionals anywhere that you'll find in the state of Kentucky and in the country. I'm internally biased. I think they're the best anywhere in the 50 states. We had Parks and Rec Professional Week this past Thursday. It was a 2-hour time frame. We shut our facilities down and we recognized our 90 employees that provide this service. And what you're going to see today is just the tip of the spear of the activities and the tasks that your 90 Parks and Recreation employees are doing for the citizens that we serve, all the visitors that visit Warren County. And I am so proud of Catrice Turner, who's going to be going over a programming piece, Ryan Patay, who is in charge of our Thrive Rec on the Run program. Ryan's also going to talk to you about one of the most successful things we've done up at Ephraim. We have Jay Grable, who Catrice and Jade have created our own internal marketing program. And at the end of the presentation, they're going to show you a video that we're pushing out on our Facebook, Instagram, and that we've been working with Crystal on to get content out. And so we are extremely excited to be able to share this. And we also have Dave Chanel and Braden Wardlow here that I want to recognize just for a quick minute at the end of this. They had to deal with the situation this past weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Catrice and the crew go with this. Courtney is here with her team, Laura Beth and Miss Watoon, and they are family members. To me, they are Parks and Rec staff, and they're leading the charge. So I'm going to sit in the back, and they're going to...
Are we paying them?
What's that?
Are we paying them?
So that's off record. That's off record, so... that's off. All right, Catrice, crew, it's yours.
All right. Thank you, guys. Magistrates Judge. We'll at the library talk about some of the camps. I was involved, but not quite as much this year. I had lots of other stuff going on. But if you guys want to talk about the camps.
All right, so we had 4 camps that we offered for free in Warren County this summer. Our first one was SOAR Camp. You can see that up there on the screen. That was in partnership with Aviation Heritage Park and with the Bowling Green Warren County Regional Airport. There was a lot of buzz about this camp once we started promoting it, and spots filled up almost immediately. And so participants, families that came to these camps got to see Aviation Heritage Park, get tours of the vehicles there. They got to go to the airport and get presentations and meet specialists and all kinds of just like amazing heroes that these kids were very excited to see. And we even received a letter recently, this little card from one of our families that went to SOAR Camp. She says, "We have had an awesome week at SOAR Camp. You all did an amazing job lining up some really cool people to learn from, experiences to enjoy, and vehicles for the kids to climb in. Our girls especially enjoyed creating the rockets, making paper airplanes, and watching the movie on Tuesday. As an adult, I thought it was a riches of wonderful opportunities throughout the week. Thank you for creating such fun educational camps." And so these are the kind of stories we've been hearing all summer from families, kids, grown-ups, everybody who participated in these camps. The next one up there is Once Upon a Camp. That's our kind of magical Disney-themed camp. We had a princess visit at the end of it. We had all kinds of activities throughout the week, Disney-themed. They were building their own Wall-E robots that you can see there in that photo. And that and the rest of our remaining camps all took place at Buchanan Park with a special free themed movie at the Capitol on Tuesdays.
Who was the princess?
We had Princess Tiana.
Oh, okay.
Yes. This next slide is our STEM camp. We had one of our, we had so much going on here. So Mr. Lewis, he is one of our library contract workers. He leads preschool lab every single week with science experiments and lessons for kids. He was our special guest for this camp, and the whole week was building these paper rockets that you can see right there with all the decoration. And then for the finale at the end of the week, we had a representative from Mr. Bond, which is a science program, doing a presentation for anybody, that huge crowd right there. That science person there is Dr. Kaboom, and everybody was very, very impressed by her presentation. And then we had a rocket launch. And this was, in some ways, I think our most exciting of our camps. We just had so much participation and so much excitement about it.
Did you say Dr. Kaboom?
Dr. Kaboom, she was amazing. I highly
Perhaps we
recommend
could have her make an appearance here.
Yes, we recommend it. And finally, Animal Camp. This is the last one that we wrapped up. And you can see these photos. The ones in the center are from our activity days earlier in the week, where our Thrive staff, the parks and library staff that made this possible, would lead big group games, silly songs, all kinds of crafts and themed activities, with a finale at the end where you see our petting zoo and our little pony carriage rides. We had a mobile dairy classroom, and Cheney's Dairy Barn was there as well. It was a stormy, stormy day.
Yeah, and I just have to say that this whole crew, there were hundreds of people that showed up to this day, even though it was like pouring down rain. It was like this stormy, stormy day, but they still wanted to be there. They still drove out in the middle of a thunderstorm to be at this finale because they were looking forward to it so much, and
And
they
waited
still had
an
an
hour.
amazing time. Yes,
Waited
yes,
inside an
waited out
hour
the
for it to happen.
Yes, yes, to make sure they got to participate. So.
And so the amazing facilities there at Buchanan Gym made this possible, as well as just the staff, everybody pitching in, making it fun while we were waiting out the thunder.
Yeah. It was great. We also had amazing staff help out with our Thrive camps and with our Thrive pop-ups all year long, and I know you have an amazing story about one of our staffers, Netta.
Yeah, so this next slide is about pop-ups. I'll talk a little bit about that. You can see here in these photos all of our staff wearing those blue Thrive shirts. They take, it's this Rec on the Run experience that Chris talked about, where we're taking the parks and the library experience out into the community for people who can't necessarily get to our locations. It might be neighborhoods or apartments where kids don't have transportation, or where their parents are working all day long and so they're home with nothing to do. And so we prioritize neighborhoods, apartment complexes where we know kids are hanging out during the day, as well as community organizations. So we were at the school systems. We were there for their summer schools, bringing those activities and things to them, as well as some other camps like Jeremy Black Camp. And so I think what these photos are making clear and what these stories have made clear is just the impact that this is having on the community, the kids that we're serving, but I also want to highlight the importance this has had for some of our staff. So I'll give an example of one staffer. I won't share her name, but she was a new hire this summer. I interviewed her in the spring. She was a senior at Warren Central. And through her interview, she was telling me that she's a really successful student athlete, that she was on the honor roll, about to graduate. She was on her way to Campbellsville. She had to take off work this summer so she could go to her college orientation. She's an avid reader, especially romance, but what she told me in her interview is that in 6th grade she couldn't read. She grew up at Lee Point, which is one of the neighborhoods that we visit every week.
Yeah.
After she lived at Lee Point, she moved on. She and her family became homeless, and they lived in her car in the Walmart parking lot. And today, every single week this summer, she's going back to Lee Point, to her apartment complex, and reading to kids that are coming out, the service that she didn't have access to when she was their age. And so I just want to highlight just the work that the staff does, and the way that these programs that they're able to bring to the community shows that like care and development, the way that they are growing up. And she has this work experience that she can take with her to college. That we can be on her resume for her. Yeah. And so to see the teens, who some of them, it's their first ever job, it's their first ever job interview, it's their first time trying to figure out how to do a work schedule and show up on time and be reliable. This is training them as well as serving the kids that are in the community.
Yes, multifaceted.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And we have a little thank you card to show you guys. Little.
This is from the kindergartners at Jeremy Black. They gave it to us last week. It's for all the Thrive staff. So each of the kindergartners wrote their own name to thank us, our Thrive staff, for coming every single week. That's great. All right.
Well, kudos to Nash for being the John Hancock of everything. I could read his name from back here, so I like that. So.
All right, so the good news is I love to talk about all the stuff I'm involved in. The people you see here who are not here, Leah, she was trying to get back. She took a trip and she hasn't made it back yet. She'll be back tomorrow. But she was very instrumental in all this work, I'm sure you guys know. And also kudos to everybody. The stories that Emily just shared, it's one of many. There's so much of that going on, and we wanted to share that with you guys. Also, our leaders, we got Court at the library, and Chris, thank you guys for keeping trusting them with what they're doing. Chris fosters this great leadership at Parks. Duncan Hines Days, hopefully some of you went. It was a blast. We loved it. Got to work with, partnering with the city, with Carissa over at Bike Walk BG, Karen Foley, you see on her trike there. And we did the paddle on the river. It was fabulous, a beautiful day. We were worried that week thought the river level was going to be too low. It was all good. What else do we have past that? We got the Walk on Wheels parade. We got the car cruising. I worked with Kevin Kirby to get that Cruising for a Cure team down there. They loved it. It was excellent. What's on the next slide? I love to keep chatting about this stuff. It was great. Duncan Hines Days was beautiful.
Patrice, you got one job.
All right. Some of the other stuff that's kept me busy all summer, Soki Cycling Club. We're meeting every Tuesday at the Corvette track. They already have their events where you can come out there, walk, run, anything but cars. We started up a cycling club out there, partnering again with Carissa at Bike Walk BG. I've been running that. We'll do up a nice little bike rodeo, run the kids through that, teach them all the hand signals, rules of the road, so that when they're out there, they're a little more confident on our streets, which are getting more and more bike friendly every year. And then we had the Soki Sprouts. This was at the Soki Marketplace Farmers Market that I was running. And we got this weekend again. Come on out, guys. This is the pictures there on the bottom are from the very first day, which was April 22nd, Earth Day. We made some rain barrels out of 32-gallon trash cans. The top picture you can see we had a ranger from Mammoth Cave National Park, Jonathan. He was great, brought all kinds of pelts to show the kids, taught them all about animals, interesting stories about the bat populations coming back at Mammoth Cave. All right, and then the community garden, my baby. Ephraim White Park. We found some room. Chris was all for it. He said, Ryan, I love this idea. Run with it. I did 16 30 by 30 plots out there. Those rain barrels you see in the pictures that we made at the farmer's market went out there. I've also been doing a small camp at International Center, and we provided, because they lost their community garden space where the new building's going, great thing for the new building, but they lost the garden space. 14 of these 16 plots are for the International Center farmers' families. So they've been out there growing it, doing wonderful things. Their only complaint is, we keep running out of water in the rain barrels. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fill them. It's been great. The community garden's been a hit. All right, Jade.
So this is a little different than everything we've talked about. You know, so far we've been talking about programs and things that we have completed. So this is something that I'm currently working on as we speak. So I have inventoried all of the trees at Ed Spear, Ephraim White, Michael Buchanan, Basil Griffin Park, but 5 different parks. We have inventoried the trees. And so my goal with that is 1 tree of each species at each park is going to have a tree tag that looks similar to above. And it's going to have like a fun fact about the tree and a QR code. And that QR code will send them to a tree encyclopedia of Warren County parks. So it'll feature all of the trees that Warren County Parks has to offer. You can learn about trees while you're walking around, looking at the parks, or if you have a project for school, you can come out there and do that. We have actually just started a partnership with the Warren County Co-op Office. So they are going to be helping us provide volunteers, informational assistance, as well as just getting this information out. So that's something we're currently working on that's brand new. So I'll let you all know when that's completed. So some upcoming events. Tomorrow is dodgeball, which is really exciting. So if you want to come out and play some dodgeball, you're more than welcome.
Kristen.
We have a free fishing day event, which is actually our intern Trevor Moore's project. So that'll be at Basil Griffin Park, July 29th. So come out and support. We have a link on our Facebook and our website, or a link on our Facebook to sign up. And so this will be for his college stuff. So the next up is Art in the Park. So this is our first Art in the Park event, and it'll be September 9th at Basil Griffin Park. We're going to be painting a mural. That'll be the kids that are actually coming will be painting the mural that will stay up year round. We have live musician, some Western programs such as Western dance is going to come and teach classes. The public theater is going to be there and teach theater lessons. So it's going to be a wide event on the backside of Basil Griffin Park, so we hope you enjoy, and it's a free event, which is always good. So the last thing is actually a program that we're doing with the library, and it's a Pumpkin 5K walk and run. So this is it's on the library's website. The sign-ups are out. So it's a 5K run that's going from Buchanan Park to South Warren through that new South Warren Greenway. So if you all should come. It's like Halloween themed. There's going to be some pumpkins. It's going to be a good time. So costumes are always, welcomed and suggested. So come in your best costume, and there will be a prize for the best. So not, just saying.
Okay, this is me. I am actually the full-time senior center manager, so I get to work with the senior citizens of Northern Warren County just to get them engaged, keep them social, keep them active. And we've worked really hard to get them out from COVID, get them used to coming back out. So we are starting a new meal program. We're working with Brad and 5-Star Catering. So on Thursday, starting August 3rd, we'll be doing hot meals for seniors at the senior center. The only requirement is that you're 60 years old and you have an application on file. So the idea behind that is just to get them out, talking to others. If you qualify, we'd love to have you.
Well, I
There's no
qualify for the
income.
first part of it.
Well, come on. There's no income requirements for that. So that is pretty unique for a meal program. Typically, they do target lower incomes, but the goal is the socialization. So it's just an age requirement on that. And so if you know people that are looking to get out, please send them our way. In conjunction with Feeding America, we do 130 monthly senior commodity boxes distributed from Ephraim White Park. And so that's been going on since the peak of COVID, and that does not seem to be running out anytime soon. We are just glad to be in a position that we can continue to help bless those people. Some other programs that we have through the Senior Center, with AARP, we do host a quarterly Safe Drivers course, and that's just a refresher course for a lot of drivers that have been on the road for a long time, just to go back over some of those basic skills. We all kind of get comfortable, and it's just an afterthought. So we do these classes just to refresh them, and the benefit of doing this class is after completion, you can submit that certificate to your insurance company, and you do receive discounts for that. So it works for everybody. We have safe drivers, and you all can save some money on insurance. We have always done bingo at the Senior Center, but we have now started to get those sponsored. The library, they've come out, they've talked about their delivery program. We've had Aetna come out, they have donated all kinds of prizes and treats. All the health companies throughout Warren County have come out, and they just tell the seniors what they offer, be able to make that connection to those seniors so that they know where to find those programs. Senior pickleball workshops have taken off. Pickleball is all the rage right now, so in all of our facilities we are packed with pickleball in the mornings, and so through the Senior Center you can sign up to do a free crash course just to get you the basics of the game so you can decide if you would like to continue to play before you enroll in one of those paid classes. And so the newest program that we are doing is through Brad, and they have received some additional funding just for seniors. And so in the upcoming days, myself and one of our new programming staff will be getting certified to teach Drums Alive, Matter of Balance, and Tai Chi. So the seniors of Warren County can pop into any of those classes, and those are all evidence-based. So the studies show that if you participate in this, there is measurable amount of improvements in your balance, fall prevention, and things like that.
So the next thing is actually me and Catrice did a marketing plan, presented it to Chris, and said, you know, this is what we kind of are wanting to do. And so we started an Instagram. You all should go follow. It's right there. And then our Facebook. We have seen lots of reach, new reach on our Facebook after we've, you know, kind of worked with Crystal and she gave us some advice and some tips. So we have seen actual, you know, analytical data that shows that what our plan is working. We've had new patron reels, which we'll show in just a second, that have reached around 3,000 people each. And we have gained followers and views, and we have gained 210 followers in the first month of Instagram, which is exciting, but we want that number to keep going up. But the next slide is going to be one of our new patron reels, and so this is that. If you want to push play.
It's not me.
But the new patron reel is, so basically we wanted to film actual people that are coming into our parks and ask them, what do you like about Warren County Parks? Why do you continue to come here? So they are our regular patrons.
I've been a part of this squad for over years. I like to catfish. I like to catch bluegills, kayak, pretty much anything, you know. So I like to come in here and then dump down all the bad memory. So this is my favorite place in the world. I love this park because it is easy access. It's got easy access and you don't have to drive too far away. And I can come in here within 5 minutes and catch 3, 4, 5 fish. So I feel like it is well stocked, it is clean, and you meet a lot of people from down this park here. So for that reason, this is one of my favorite, places to go fish.
So this project was so fun. We got to actually go and talk with these patrons and get to know a lot about them. Stone talked for probably 45 minutes about how to fish and what was the best way to fish. And it was just really a fun time. And a crowd south of Mid-Monster helped us with this. And it has seen great success. And I think it just really shows that, we are about the people and people make up the parks. And so this kind of just showcased just a few of those people that makes parks so special.
As Chris mentioned, go ahead. So as Chris mentioned, for the first time in the history of the department, we have celebrated Parks and Rec's Professional Day, which is something that comes down from the National Parks and Recreation Association. And so we just took some time last Friday just to gather our staff together and have a good time. And I just encourage you all, as you see Parks members, tell them you appreciate what they do. A lot of times it's a thankless job. We just kind of go about the day and assume those services will be there. So if you see your Parks people, we just ask that you show some appreciation. Thank you.
Judge, just in closing, I really appreciate you letting us take the time. This program, Rec on the Run and Thrive, started 5 years ago, and it literally was myself and Leah Sperlin going into apartment complexes with one van, two of us with a megaphone at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and people were coming out like, who is this? What's going on? And by the end of it, we would have 30, 40 kids behind us, and it started off small, and with the support of the library, with our wonderful staff across the board, Jill, Annabelle Justice, Patrick, they're out doing programs today. That's why they're not here, but there are 2 part-time seasonal workers. Because of fiscal court, we were able to expand that to add 2 additional seasonal workers for this coming summer, as well as a full-time or a part-time year-round programmer that will assist with these programs, as well as a supportive and brand-new program with Moss Middle School in Jennings Creek. So we're excited to bring that to you at a later date to discuss that. So we're happy to answer any questions. And again, it's the energy, it's the fresh, it's the new that we're able to reach over 10,000 kids this summer because of the partnership that we have with the library and with the resources that we have within our community, the Warren County Public Schools, and all of our other community partners. So on behalf of Chris Cummer, I can't say enough about the crew behind me. They're the ones leading the charge. I'm trying to keep up with what they're doing. I would like to recognize 2 other individuals.
Before you recognize, I have one question on the STEM program. We definitely should take advantage of next year, getting with the National Soapbox Derby Association, and where they have a good STEM program, and we have all those cars sitting out at the gym.
It'd be awesome.
Just make sure to see me afterwards, and I'll get you with the right person that could help you with, maybe get us some more racers.
That's awesome.
It'd be a great STEM program.
We can definitely do that. I would like to bring up Braden Wardlow and Chanel Irving. As you all know, as the parks grow, in the coming weeks, I'll be submitting a participation report to you all of our usage over the past 12 months. Last year, we exceeded over 500,000 users in the park system. That was the largest amount of users to come through all 38 of our parks facilities. This year, within the last 12 months, we've had over 100,000 added. So this year we'll be in excess of 600,000 users of county parks facilities. When I started working here 24 years ago, we had 14 staff. We're up to over 90, and those 90 are critical pieces to allowing the programming and the level of programming that we're doing within your park system. Unfortunately, with growth, there comes some challenges. One of the big challenges that we're having right now is behavior of parents, behavior of coaches, and behavior of officials. And we've had 3 episodes within the past 12 months that have not been good. We've had other episodes that are a little bit less than that in severity. This past weekend, we had a weapons incident at Michael Buchanan Gym. Chanel Irving, who is one of our gym supervisor, their full-time gym supervisors, team leader, as well as Braden Wardlow. gym supervisor at the facility. Those were the two staff members assigned. We had a basketball tournament, and during the course of the basketball tournament, there was a heated exchange between officials and coaches and scorekeepers. Unfortunately, a weapon was drawn, and it was an uncomfortable situation, a scary situation. It impacted hundreds of people, and it turned into a brief active shooter situation. With the support of the Sheriff's Office, with John Bailey, our Parks Police Deputy, which is a critical piece of allowing us to be able to provide these large-scale events, Deschanel and Braden, they put themselves first and proceeded with our exit plan for those types of situations. They did it without hesitation. They did it without delay, and they cleared that gym within a matter of about 60 seconds. And they took charge. And they took charge because it's the kind of people that they are. They have experience with large-scale events and functions. Most people don't think that Parks and Recreation professionals are going to have to deal with bad situations, and we deal with them a lot. And that's not what a lot of people sign up for, to deal with violent acts within our park system. So we're taking a stand that we have zero tolerance for misbehavior in our facilities. We are a play environment that's supposed to be fun and safe, and that's what we're going to be doing. And so I just wanted to recognize Deschanel Irving and Braden Wardlow for going way above what the call of duty was, and being there in a critical time, in control of that facility, following our policies and procedures to a T, and ensuring that the patrons in that building were safe, and assisting law enforcement when they entered the facility, when they first got there, when John got out of his cruiser. They aided him with getting into where he needed to be. And with that being said, I can't say enough about the staff we have, Deschanel, Braden, Catrice, Jade, Ryan. I've got 92 plus, and they are the best. And we need to retain them, we need to recognize them, and we need to understand that they're doing work that oftentimes is unseen. And they're working when other people are playing. And they're preparing when other people are working. They're working too. And they're getting ready for when they come out and play after 4 or 5 o'clock around the weekends. So with a huge heart, I just want to thank them, thank all of our staff, thank the library, and thank you, Court, for allowing us this time.
So first off, I was out there, and Deschanel and Braden, we have an exceptional county, and we're such a better place because each of you live in our county and because each of you do the job you're doing. And I'm sure at some point some of us are looking, and they appear to be young. And then I would say the responsibility that's on these two young people's shoulders is unbelievable. And so a lot of times, my dad always used to say, don't ever judge anyone in good times. Put a little pressure on them, you'll see what type of person they are. And what the two of you have proven is you're a shining example of the future of Warren County, and that's what gives us all hope. And so thank you for your dedication and your service. We appreciate you coming today.
Thank you.
And very quickly to Laura, Beth, Emily, and Court, thank you for that. We have a couple options. No library, just a library with books, or we have an unbelievable library that takes that to the community and continues to evolve and make it the greatest library in the state of Kentucky. And that's what we have, and we're so very thankful for what we do. They are unbelievable what they do, and we appreciate the partnership with Warren County doing it. And then to Jade, Ryan, Catrice, Chris, thank you for all your hard work as well. What a fantastic program we have for the summer. It's really made a big difference, so thank you all for that. Any other questions?
I want to add one thing if I can, Doug.
Sure.
It's really true leadership of Chris to allow his people to flourish and do and grow and not be the person controlling all the strings, but allowing the ability and empowering the people he's had around him to go out and do the job to make it the best Parks Department in all the state of Kentucky. So, thank you.
Leaders build leaders, and we have the best leadership team that we've ever had, and we have the best employment team that we've ever had. And our challenge as an employer is to be able to retain that talent, and we are blessed to have our crew.
But thank you.
Thank you. Great, all right, thanks so much. All right, thank you all. And now, you talk about leadership, I've made a serious error in judgment. I'm going to move item 22 up to the front. We have a lawyer on the clock who sat through that entire program. Playing games, just a little. But I would like to move, if it's okay with the court, item 22 up to the front. Now we'll resume our agenda, and that is item 22 is approved resolution 2315 concerning the Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.'s conveyance of .646 plus or minus acres of real property and .18 plus or minus acre temporary right-of-way to the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Highways and partial cancellation of contract, lease, and option. The first supplemental contract, lease and option, and the second supplemental contract, lease and option related to said real property and authorized judge executive to sign all related documents. Gaines, before we take a motion, you're welcome to explain what we're doing here.
Thank you, Judge. May it please the court, that's a mouthful. The bottom line is the good things going on in the Trans Park. The expansion in the eastern side of this Trans Park requires new roads. One way for the new industries to get into that is the expansion of what's the Fred Madison Road, it's a small road. That includes the Kentucky Department of Highways needing to add in some right and left turn lanes onto 6880. Basically, this says that you all consent to the Trans Park donating that, it's like 0.6 acres to the Highway Department to put in those turn lanes. And it also, because this land is part of the financing of the bigger park, whenever we donate or sell land, we come to you for permission to release the leasehold interests that secure the financing. So that's what this is.
Thank you for that. We have a motion by Squire Cumming, a second by Squire Aldridge. Any questions for Mr. Penn? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Oh, and 23 as well, thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yes, it is, right below there. So item 23 is approved resolution 2316 concerning the rail spur easement on real property owned by Warren County, Kentucky in the Kentucky Trans Park, and authorize the judge executive to sign all related documents. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Penn, it's great to see you today.
Excellent to see
You
you
tell,
all. too.
if you'd please tell all the office at ELPO about the great things we're doing at the Parks and Rec and library.
Truly amazing. I'm going to bring it up at the lunch today. Thank you all.
Thank you, buddy. All right, we'll go back to item number 8, which is approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2346, establishing Creekstone Lane, Creekstone Court, Old Post Drive, Old Post Court, and Jerome Drive, located in Drake's Ridge Subdivision, Phase 2, as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. There's a motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Item 9 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2347, establishing Mount Rainier Drive, Elkhorn Peak Drive, and Pikes Peak Way, located in Summit Subdivision Phase 6, as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Well, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 10 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2348, rezoning property located at 0 Karen Simpson Road from agriculture to single-family residential, containing approximately 3.1634 acres and presently owned by Oliver and Hansborough Development Partners, LLC, care of Darrell Oliver and Benjamin Hansborough. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2349, rezoning property located at 0 and 199 Sweeney Lane from agriculture to highway business containing approximately 4.4992 acres and presently owned by Sweeney Properties LLC, care of Ralpesh Patel. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 12 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2351, rezoning property located at 0 and 487 Valley Point Court, portions of which from single-family residential to single-family residential RS1D, contain approximately .09 acres, and presently owned by Hammer Rental Homes LLC, Royal Investments BG LLC, and Greenbrier Hills Properties LLC. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lasley. Question or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 13 is approved second and final reading of ordinance 2352, establishing the updated geographic boundaries for magisterial districts in Warren County. Motion by Squire Williams, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 14 is approve the lowest and best quote from My Projects LLC to renovate areas in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office of the Warren County Justice Center in the amount of $39,687. 3 quotes were solicited, 2 were obtained. This will be reimbursed back to the county through the rental agreement with Real Properties. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Anytime you see Amy with that reaction, you know I've made a mistake. All right, item 14 is approved, no. Item 15, approve amended grant agreement with SCKY Foundation for Workforce Development in the amount of $36,000 for funding of full-time position for workforce development at Fort Campbell, and authorize the judge executive to sign all related documents. This will be paid for with ARPA funds. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 16, make part of the record the Warren County Regional Jail U.S. Bureau of Prisons Inspection Report from June 12, 2023. The report notes no deficiencies. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Question or discussion? Congratulations, there, jailer. Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 17 is make part of the record the new United States Marshal Service intergovernmental agreement in effect for 36 months. Jailer Harmon?
This is the only time that Greg likes to see me come and present to the courts when I'm bringing in more money. So I do this just for Greg. On the previous item, I just wanted to take a moment to brag on the staff in the Restricted Custody Center that monitor these folks out in the community all over Kentucky. We have people in Paducah, we have people in Hopkinsville, Glasgow, Horse Cave, Cave City, Bowling Green. We have them all over the state. And the reason we do that is not because it's a good time, but it also offsets the tax dollar that we need from the community to function. So the Bureau of Prisons is a lot of work. We have to monitor them at work. We have to do work visits. We have to do drug testing every week. We have to do home visits. We track them by GPS monitor 24/7. And so kudos to all of the staff in the Restricted Custody Center that made that report so successful. The item that you're actually on being the new federal inmate contract, significant increase, and we've been working on this since about the middle of COVID. It wasn't due up until February of '24. So we've been asking to negotiate early since COVID, and finally we were able, with the help of the law firm, which is an item later that you'll see that we're paying for, we were able to get a substantial increase. And so that also funded the budget amendment that you passed last court meeting, which we appreciate will help us so much with staff retention and getting them what they deserve. So it's for 36 months, and it's nice when I can come and ask for a budget amendment and not ask you for more money to do it. And so all the staff that worked in the administrative part of our operation that helped this to get to where we are now and the amount that we're collecting per federal inmate now, I want to tell them such a job well done. And then on the other item that's towards the end, that's just paying for the law firm that helped us out of DC with this. I think we're the 9th or 10th county in Kentucky to use them. And also the work that we did on contract negotiations will actually pay for the work that the law firm did. So another brownie point with Greg. I'm hoping to see a return on that at some point. So any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Because of the overcrowded situation, are we still in good shape of receiving a bunch of federal inmates to help us with the overall budgeting process and helping us maintain our jail?
So it's been down over the last 3 months. No real explanation for that, but I think it will come back to where we were before. We've had record numbers. Just after COVID, we had record numbers of federal inmates. And so always still overcrowded, even when we think the population is down. We always have more prisoners than we have beds, and so that's something that hopefully I'll be coming back to you all in the next years. We can get something planned for an expansion, but as it stands now, we're in pretty good shape with federal inmates.
What was our bed count last night?
This morning at 7 a.m. it was 646. So we've had as high as 815 in the last 24 months.
Thank you.
Average around 750 intakes every month, and usually the average daily populations is between 650 and 700 right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any other questions for Jailer Harmon? Thank you for that hard work. All right, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Items 18, approved determination amount of $13,866 to Bluegrass Ball Fields for 4 portable football soccer goals for Griffin Park. 3 quotes were obtained. This was the lowest and best. Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Approve the June 2023 Treasurer's Report.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 20, approved determination the amount of $9,357.12 to Leachman Collision Center for the repair of a 2021 Ford F-150 for the Parks Department. 3 quotes were obtained. This was the lowest and best. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 21 is approved determination amount of $20,995 to Connexus for the yearly contract with Alert Sense for emergency management and Parks and Rec text notifications. Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Now moving to item 24, approve first reading of ordinance 2353, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and Dove Point Phase 1.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 25, approve first reading of ordinance 2354, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and Blevins Farm Phase 2.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 26, approve first reading of ordinance 2355, rezoning property located 3731 and 3789 Gotts Hydro Road, a portion of which from agriculture to residential containing approximately 3.49 acres and presently owned by Blevins and Blevins LLC, care of Chris and Merritt Blevins. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 27 is approved first reading of ordinance 2356, rezoning property located at 14222 Louisville Road, a portion of which from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately .14 acre and presently owned by Mike and Ashley Buttram. Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
And item 28, approved determination amount of $74,000 to Summerall Law Firm for work and application and negotiations on the Warren County Regional Jail's USMS Federal Inmate Contract. This contract was approved by Fiscal Court on March 23, 2023, and this expense will be paid for from the Securus Capital Improvement Grants at no cost to the general fund. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
And again, Jailer Harmon, thanks for the hard work with that law firm and for redoing that contract. It's a big difference for Warren County. Item 29 is approved determination amount of $4,450 to Crowd Control Company for crowd control barricades at Griffin Park for youth football games. This was previously approved in June, but that order couldn't be fulfilled by that vendor. 3 new quotes were obtained, and this is the lowest and best. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Please call roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 30, approved determination amount of $136.21 a month for copier and scanner equipment and service for Stormwater Department. 3 quotes requested, 2 received. This was the lowest and best quote, and this will be paid for by Stormwater.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 31 is approve a lease agreement for a 2024 one-ton full-size truck with utility bed and crane with Enterprise Fleet Management in an amount not to exceed $1,900 per month for 60 months for use by the Warren County Road Department. This is replacing a 2001 Chevrolet 3500. This actually was approved back in October of 2022 and April of 23. However, we're not able to complete the order. They now have the vehicle, so this is the contracted vendor. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 32 is approve the budget transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Williams, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 33 is approve $4,971,537.50 for revenue loss from the ARPA funds to be transferred from the ARPA grant fund to the county's general fund. $73,471 of this is an administrative expense paid directly from the ARPA account. Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
I'd like to thank the treasurer for keeping all of our, that ARPA funds for the last 2.5 years straight. That has been a very big benefit for Warren County for sure. Item 34 is approve the lease modification for the Commonwealth Attorney's Office reflecting an increase of 827 square feet at the same terms and conditions as reflected in the existing lease, resulting in an increase of $12,173.44 in lease revenue. Of course, this is for increase of space at the Justice Center. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
And will treasurer please report the claims?
General Fund, $836,294. Road Fund, $175,562. Jail Fund, $405,375. Stormwater Fund, $54,286. LGEA Fund, $62,411. Grant Fund, $190,000. ARPA Fund, $109,471. E911 Fund, $13,098. And Fed Forfeiture Fund, $947. Be happy to answer any questions.
Motion to pay the claims.
Motion to pay the claims by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. Sheriff Hightower's out. Deputy Wiles with us today. All good, thank you. And earlier today, we swore in 3 dispatchers, but most importantly, 6 SROs for our school year and everything like that. So thank you for the hard work on that as well, Kevin. And great job, by the way, again, for John Bailey at the work they've done at the parks. It was fantastic what they do out there, so thank you for that. Ms. Yates?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you very much. Jailer Harmon? Chris, thank you very much, and their whole staff. Thank you for all that. Mr. Moore? Mr. Pearson, all good in your world?
Yes, sir.
Well, you can say if it's not, it's okay. We're here for you. That's right, that's right, that's right, that's exactly right. Mr. Peterson? Still rolling along, that's great. Everything's going very well. Squire Aldridge?
Thank you, Judge.
Squire Cummings?
Yeah, he's gonna get you off easy. I have 2 things. One is to put everybody on the calendar, August the 12th, from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Woodburn Fire Department's putting on their annual ice cream supper and dinner out at the Woodburn ball fields out there. We'll meet one time before then, but I want to get that out there so I can put it on their calendar. It's always a great event and lots of fun and so forth. And secondly, most importantly, I don't want to do is my wife's birthday is this Saturday, so I want to publicly wish her a happy birthday because we're not sure what else she's going to get, but she definitely got a public announcement that her birthday is this Saturday.
Well, a happy birthday to Daisha. That's fantastic. Well, when you send her a recording of the meeting, it'll be great. What a thoughtful birthday gift that will be. Here's your marriage tip 101, not to do.
Hey, I may have just got her present, so.
Oh, yes, take that. Sir, Squire Williams.
I want to thank Esquire Ron Cummings for reminding me that my wife has a birthday next week. So happy birthday to Deborah. And I want to say how pleased I am with the looks of this room. Everybody did a fantastic job. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Squire Lawrence.
Yeah, Judge, I'm really impressed with the look of the room, too. It looks really nice in here. I've been up here for a little while, and I'm really happy with it. I think everybody did a great job.
Thank you. Squire Lasley.
Thanks, Judge.
Great. I will say we do have two seals coming that there's not in yet. It'll be another couple of weeks, but it'll be a nice addition to the room as well. Ms. Milliken.
I'm just thrilled with everything the Parks is doing and partnering with the library. I mean, reaching out to those kids you don't, I think you probably do, but I want to reiterate, you're making such a difference in the lives of the children. And I love that you reach out to all of the North Warren County folks. They adore you up there. They sing your praises, all of them. So thank you for everything that all of you do. We really appreciate it. And also, Jailer Harmon, I really want everyone to know how hard he works and how hard all of his staff works. They are so overcrowded, and they do everything they can to keep everyone there safe, get everyone to court on time, and just he puts in that extra effort. So I really appreciate everything he does too. So.
Thank you. Great words. Treasurer Burrell.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Deputy Judge Downing.
I just want to say I've been out in the last couple of weeks meeting with a lot of the directors, and it's been fantastic. I've been asked a lot what I've enjoyed the most, and meeting with you guys and seeing the collaborative spirit here in Warren County has been great. I'm still missing a few that I've got to get with, but I'm looking forward to that in the next couple of weeks. And thanks for your all's hard work for all our citizens here. Parks and the library, that presentation was great. My kids have benefited from that. They've done yoga this summer, saw Bluey this summer, all sorts of other things. They're at Basil Griffin like every week, Chris, so thank you guys for everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Clerk Cummings. What a great day. Thanks for the, it's a new record for me. It's 10:20, but thank you. No, I'm playing. We'll stay here as long as we need to. But thank you. I don't want to get that reputation, but that's good. And thanks for putting up. I had a head cold earlier in the week. I feel great. My voice doesn't, but I appreciate everyone that. I will say that the, let me have that box there. I took my box into my office here, but there is a, the Sheriff's inaugural gala is September 9th from 6 to 11 p.m. We'll put that, we'll have tickets and we'll put that square on our website so everyone can look at that, but it's going to be a nice event they have on it Saturday, September 9th for that as well, so we're looking forward to that. If there's no other business to come before the county this morning, we have a motion adjourned by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Aldridge. We are adjourned.